Hi guys, welcome to my channel and thank you so much for being here. I was recently invited by a friend of mine to be a guest on a very amazing show on African Bank radio station. To be honest, I didn't even know they had a radio station, but I had so much fun while I was there. In this video, there's nothing that I speak about that you guys don't already know, but I thought I would upload it anyway. The host name is Doric. She is so amazing, so accommodating. I felt like I was talking to my sister or a long lost friend. Had so much fun during this interview. As mentioned, everything that I speak about here is stuff that you guys already know, but I thought I would upload it, and I hope that you guys enjoy this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you do watch, I love you all.
Wondering if it is forever, or is there some place that will make her feel better, make her feel better, then that's where she'll go.
An amazing conversation with a lady we call the Millennial Mom, and I'm talking about Amanda Ndanyi. So, who joins me in the studio this afternoon. So, we are celebrating International Women's Day, and if you're not familiar with what that actually means, well, each year for International Women's Day, the United Nations selects a theme, and this year's theme is digital innovation and technology for gender equality. It's not just digital, all, as in all, everyone must be a part of the process. And digital technology is actually opening new doors for the global empowerment of women, girls, and other marginalized groups, from gender responsive digital learning to take facilitated sexual and reproductive health care. The digital age also represents an unprecedented opportunity to eliminate all forms of disparity and inequality. So now, one woman is occupying the digital space, and like I did say, she's Amanda, but we're going to call her Mandy this afternoon. How you doing, Amanda?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Great, good to have you in the studio.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming through. So for those who are just rubbing their hands out of curiosity, well, Mandy actually is a 33-year-old single mom of two, running her own lifestyle and parenting YouTube channel with over 30,000 subscribers. Girl, can you just transfer some of them to me? Can we just share? Can we just share as ladies, please? And it's called the Millennial Mom, and she created the Millennial Mom to help single mothers find a voice and strength to do what society shames women the most for, proudly raising our kids. How powerful is that? Yeah. Amazing. I feel like I should have an applause for you.
Oh, thank you.
But it's good to have you in the studio this afternoon, and I think just to start off lightly and wholeheartedly so, you know, who is Amanda? You know, where do you come from, and how do you get to this place of starting your own YouTube channel?
Okay, so I'm originally from Durban. I moved to this side, Gauteng, I think in 2007, and I met my then boyfriend. It was a great relationship. We had a child, and he told me that he didn't want to be part of my child's life or my child's life if I didn't have an abortion. I was like, oh no, it's fine. You don't need to be part of my life. It's okay. I will not have an abortion. At that time, I was just like, I'm going to have this child. Yeah. I thought he was joking, you know. And then my mom, I was very young. I was still a student, so my mom decided to take my child. For the longest time, I lived my life in Joburg, go home, see my child, never once got any communication from him. Wow. And about 12 years later, I got into another relationship where I met someone else that I was in a relationship with. I felt pregnant, and the first 4 months of the relationship were fine. After that, things went south, and then the next thing I woke up, I was blocked from all social media platforms from him. And I think that's when I realized that I'm going to be raising yet again this child by myself. What I failed to do for the first 12 years was to speak up. So I kept quiet when my first child's father left. I never did anything. I never took him to court. I never spoke about him. I just pretended like he didn't exist. But 12 years later, when the same thing happened again, I realized that my silence did nothing for me in the 12 years. Because when I reached out to him 12 years later to say, hey, your daughter is now 12 and she's asking for you, he told me some of the worst things that I can't even repeat. So that's when I realized that, you know what, silence has nothing for me. If anything, silence has protected him, because he had the narrative that he lied to people, telling people that he was taking care of the child and stuff like that. So 12 years later, the same thing happens, and I was just like, okay, how do I do it differently this time? So it's like, let's just go through maintenance court, because I can see what time it is. So while I was pregnant, I started doing my research on maintenance court and the processes of getting this person to take care of the child financially, at least. And I struggled to find real life relatable stories from women like me. I joined Facebook groups where most of the posts were anonymous, but I struggled to find a connection with any of the women who went through things like me. So when I was going through it, I reached out to this lady on Twitter, and I put out on Twitter that I need help. Anyone who's gone through the maintenance process, please help me. This lady reached out, she inboxed me, and she said, I'll help you, but obviously privately. After she helped me, I went through the first process with court, and I realized that, you know what, this is a lot, and a lot of women do not have this information. How about, because I don't mind putting my life out there, how about I then sit down in front of my little phone and just document this maintenance court process. I did about 3 videos, and I was just doing it thinking that I'm just doing it, you know, whoever sees it, you know, if it's 5 people, if it's 50 people, whatever. Then one time on Twitter, there was a conversation about maintenance courts. Then I happened to say, I actually did a video about this from the beginning to the end. If anyone's interested, let me know. The amount of women who were interested in that process blew my mind. I put the video up on Twitter, and things changed since that. That was that. Yes.
Scars are beautiful.
Yes.
Because literally, I think the 2 things that stand out, obviously, in terms of what inspired you to start your YouTube channel is giving women a voice. And giving them a place where they can find strength. To be able to say, this is where I need to be, this is the information that I need. And I am so grateful to have you in the studio this afternoon with such a beautiful story to tell women. It sounds painful in the beginning, but there's beauty on the other side. And that's why we need to share these stories. And so seeing that we're talking about International Women's Day, and they're actually celebrating innovation and technology for gender equality. You know, what does International Women's Day mean to you as Mandy? Seeing that you're coming from that space, you've started a platform inspired by your own pain. What would you say International Women's Day really means to you?
For me, it's a day and time to just reflect on how far women have come in this world, and also women are part of like marginalized groups, and women are silenced. And I think for me, my biggest thing is you will not silence me. I've been silenced for basically my whole life, and when I found my voice, I found it and I ran with it. And that's why I appreciate when days like these, they want women to start speaking up and standing up for themselves, and that for me means something to me because I'm in that process.
I always talk to a lot of ladies to say, you know, when purpose finds you, it's like that voice on the inside that just wants to find expression. It's like you can't sleep at night, and it's like, get me out of here. People must hear me. And it's such stories that inspire other women to wake up every day and say, I can fight for another day, for my kids, and I want to live long enough to see my kids actually develop themselves as well. So these stories are definitely very important. So one of the calls being made today is for governments to ensure that the digital space is safe for women. So as a content creator, you know, who publishes content that involves your children, how do you, you know, as a mother, ensure that your children are safe and they're not compromised?
It's very, very hard. In the beginning of my channel, I only posted myself. I only did sit downs. And then when the channel grew, people started being interested in my life. And they asked if I could do vlogs and like spend the day with me and my children, because I speak about these children so much, but they've never seen them. And it was so difficult. But how do I protect my children from hiding their school badges when I drop them off, hiding where we live and stuff? But unfortunately, it's sometimes hard, because if someone recognizes where you stay, or someone recognizes where your child stays, then they know it. But luckily, my children go to schools where if the parent didn't say that this person is coming to fetch them, then they're not going to let them in. But online, I try to post myself as more than I post my own children, because it is not a safe space for them. Luckily, also YouTube has a lot of rules with that. There was a video that I posted, it got a couple of thousands of views, and YouTube felt as if it was attracting pedophiles because my little daughter was in a swimming costume. And so they sent me an email telling me that they will remove that. So I do appreciate also with things like platforms like YouTube, also TikTok, also they give you red flags, and then they tell you to take the video down.
That's just amazing. I know child protection is very important, especially in this day and age. So you've learned a lot, obviously, about taking precautions as you go along, which is a good thing. But we're going to take a breather, and I did ask you what kind of music do you listen to, and you said you were a fan of old school R&B, Apple Beyonce, but I just think what is befitting right now is Destiny's Child, independent woman, because girl, you've been keeping some stuff on top and above your head as well, just so that you can make sure that things happen for yourself and your business as well. So let's get to it. Destiny's Child, independent woman. Ndlangisa, the Millennial Mom, and you can also check out her YouTube channel. And we're actually just celebrating her as a woman in the space, digital space. Like I always say, the people that make things happen, right? And it's good to be just having a conversation about situations that we experience in life as women, but we still come out strong, which is one of the traits that we have as women. You can't take that away from us. You can't. You can't. I was just laughing when you were saying, yeah, I love independent, but there are times when I also just want to be spoiled.
Take care of me, please.
Just take care of me. Smother me. Buy me some roses. So maybe let's talk about your content creating journey. So how many years have you been creating content, and what lessons, can you share with an aspiring content creator listening to you right now?
Okay, so I'd say professionally, inverted commas, probably 2. But I mean, I've been on Instagram and Twitter for years, but only in 2021 when I started my YouTube channel, then I decided to take myself seriously as a content creator. And what I would say, what helped me with, especially with YouTube, was consistency. It sounds so cliche, but consistency and being myself. I don't hide anything. I don't put on makeup first thing in the morning. You will see what I look like when I'm at home. You will see what I look like when I'm outside. I find myself that I'm relatable to the everyday woman, and I've found my niche. I've found my people. I've found my tribe, and they've supported me through so much as well. They share my content as well. Some of my subscribers come from people who know who say, oh, my friend, word of mouth, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, what has worked for me honestly is consistency and just being myself at all times.
Oh, amazing. Be authentic.
Yes.
Because we tend to struggle, when you know that literally everyone is looking at you, just that whole thing in your head is, I need to put on some makeup and look presentable, but you're not keeping it real.
No.
And I'm happy that you are highlighting the aspect about knowing your niche.
Yes.
Because if you know who you want to talk to, you are going to build your content based on who you're targeting and how you want your content to be received by your audience. I love that. So creating content does require one to be intentional and authentic, like just you like what you just mentioned right now. So take us through the whole creative process behind your videos. So let's say you know that today there's something that you're going to be doing. What happens? Do you prepare like 3 days before? What's the process?
Before I used to, now it has come easy. Before I used to actually have a content calendar. I would sit and treat my YouTube channel as I used to work in magazines, and we used to sit and have, I'm sure even here, you have like a content producer. So I am my own content producer. I'll sit and say, March is coming up. Wow, this is what I want to talk about in March. Now I rely a lot on my subscribers, so they have become my content producers.
So they tell you,
this is what we want to hear. Please touch on this. So that helps with my sit downs. And then on a random day, I'll decide, today I want to shoot a vlog. Like this morning, I just woke up and decided today I wanted to shoot a vlog. And it just means I have to wake up a little bit earlier, prepare the children, and do maybe 30 minutes earlier than what I would wake up if I'm going to be shooting.
Okay, great. So let's talk about money. Money. So I know everybody is probably also curious, how do you monetize this type of industry, because yes, we know that you create content. The creative economy is booming in South Africa. People are buying cars and paying off houses from money generated from creating content. So how does one actually enter into that space? And is there money?
There is money. I'm in a niche where we think we are the bottom of the food chain, but I do know that they rank it. I think beauty and finance on the top 5 of the most paid, and then parenting is literally towards at the end. But even with that, I still make money from YouTube. It took me over a year to make money, because you need to have 1,000 subscribers, you need to have 4,000 watch time. There's a lot that you need to have to meet the criteria, but once you meet it, you then make money from views. So however many people watch your video, that's how much you will make. It's, as mentioned, parenting. For us, they don't see us unless you're in beauty, fashion, and finance. I think those are high. They pay quite high, but it's still something. It's not something that someone would just give me for free. It's something that helps me pay my bills. It's something that helps with my children's school fees at times. It helps with my debit orders when times are tough. Sometimes even helps with luxury. and that's YouTube. And then on Instagram, I only started making money on Instagram last December. It's when brands, I guess, start seeing you, and
you become more visible.
yes, but South African brands have noticed me. I think in December I worked with about 2 to 3 brands, and now I'm working with another 2. So that's where I hope going forward that where my money is going to come from. But there is money, whether it's 3,000 rand or 30,000 rand, no one's going to give you that 3,000 rand. So I would encourage anyone to start. Just start it, and it's money you can use. We all need money for something, it's money you can use for luxury, money you can use for like little things, but it's money that you make money from doing what you love.
Yes. Yeah. And looking beautiful costs money, guys. You can't just look beautiful. So that 3,000 could go a long way.
That's like a whole makeup hamper that's going to last you 3-4 months.
3-4 months, indeed. So I know there's always this fear every time I engage with my friends as well, is that, oh, I want to start a YouTube channel. Those people are going to come in and say negative things. How do you respond? I don't know if you've had to deal with this before, with viewers who respond negatively to your content. And how did you bravely? Literally, by the way, guys, this lady's wearing a t-shirt called Brave. So tell us how brave you were when those people were just throwing those negative comments on your YouTube channel.
I still get them. It hurts because the comments are from people who are trying to shut me up. Because it's you're not saying anything, because all I do is talk about the struggles of being a single mother, how sad it can be at times to have deadbeats, to have children who have fathers that are alive, and things like that. And you get comments like, well, you should have chosen better man, or your children are mistakes and stuff like that. I get those all the time. At first I used to keep quiet and just be like, oh, okay, cool, just that's how you feel. Now I just fire back. Now I'm just like, if you're going to be mean to me, I'm going to be mean back, because my children, especially my eldest one, is at a stage where she can read these comments. I always want my children to know that I fought for them and I continue to fight for them. But how am I fighting for them when I allow someone to call them mistakes? Because people do have the audacity to come to your comments and say, oh, siege with you and your mistakes, or leave us alone, you chose these men, or why people, like, it's always victim blaming in a way, and I fight back. I might not make that, don't quote me on that, don't take that advice, but for me, what I see working is that when I fight back, I get less of them. It's bully the bully.
So you kind of weed them out.
Yes.
You weed them out. Great. So before I let you go, what is the one book that you could mention today with us this afternoon that actually changed your life?
Whew. It's a sad book, but it's a book by Sunyati called When Women Speak. It's Women's Secrets. So it's a book with a couple of stories from women who have been abused in sexually, physically, mentally, financially, in all those ways. And I think I like that book, and I related to that book because it's so nice to see women speak up. It's so nice to see women go and conquer, even with all of that they've been through. Women go through a lot, from childhood to teenagehood, to a lot that we don't speak about. So when you see other women speaking out, even if you are not ready to speak out, you feel seen and you feel validated. So I read that book, and there were so many things in there, and there's so many stories from other women in there that made me feel validated, made me feel seen, and made me feel like, you know what, you're going to be okay.
Such a beautiful story, and thank you so much for coming through this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
And I know somebody who is listening today is definitely inspired. Whether you are scared of those comments, just do it anyway. Be brave, just like Amanda's just highlighting her own story of resilience. And that's why we celebrate International Women's Day, just to acknowledge how far women have come. The struggle continues, but the fact that we wake up every day and we still look forward to another day to continue to do what we love the most. And that's exactly what you're doing. So if people want to follow you on your socials, how do they do that? How do they catch up with you?
I am Mandy_Ndlangisa on Instagram. I have to say I'm very, very bad on Instagram, but on Twitter, which I'm good at, it's Mandy Ndlangisa as well. If you have any questions on maintenance cost, the process, or if you just want a sister to vent to, I do know that sometimes we don't want to tell our friends our deepest, darkest business. I'm here. I can be your big sister. And yeah, Mandy Njangisa on all platforms.
Fantastic. Well, that was Amanda, Mandy Njangisa, and she runs a YouTube channel there called The Millennial Mom. So if you're a single mother and you just want some tips about how you can balance things and continue to be that independent woman who thrives in life, well, make sure that you tune in, like what we always say, follow, share, subscribe,
Yes,
all of that. All those things in there. Follow, subscribe, like, and share while you're at it. Thank you so much. And we are saying goodbye to you with Alicia Keys. This girl is on fire. You
So
have
pretty.
yourself a
Thank you.
fantastic day. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Cool.